So the previous notes up to the first 10 pages, we're just telling you how to do a scope statement, you see. And with this scope statement, you are ready now for the next stage, whether this particular product that you're building or looking at is actually in competition with other ideas and other needs and other demands of the company, you see. So because funding of the company can be very limited in any organization, whether you're in government or whether you're in private sectors, it's all the same, you know. We only have that much money to go around each year. So when we embark onto a project, we want to do project screening or project selection. And project screening and project selection actually is about competing needs, competing demands, competing products, competing projects. So this is to test whether your ideas or whether your solution or whether the product itself will actually not only meet the demand, but it actually came out to be the best idea of the lot, you know, to emerge the champion, you know, and try to be the companies or be the most important or be the very A class or the A stage kind of project that the company will be looking at. Because when your company are putting a lot of emphasis on that particular project, there will be a lot more resources given to it. There will be a lot more funding given to it, and there will be a lot more attention given to it. And it's actually part of the main organization project, you know, of the year. Those sort of things are usually more beneficial to the project manager who are in charge of this sort of project. But of course, there will be project that is in the class B standards, in the class C standards, or, you know, in the first class, second class, and third class. It doesn't matter, you know, as an engineer, our job has to be carrying it out, you know, doing this to the best of our ability to fit the organization purpose, organization aim and objective, organization mission. So we must help our client to achieve that. So it doesn't matter whether yours is a class A project that the company will be putting in all their fundings or most of the fundings, or yours will be a class B project that, you know, is actually part of 5 different projects that is ongoing, or it can be part C project that is the 10 sort of like 10 or 20 smaller projects that we're looking at. It doesn't matter, you know, we are all making money for the company. We're all building infrastructures for the people. They are all equally important. Okay, it's just the emphasis of the organization can be different. So in this project screening, we are actually looking at a range of benefits that the project will bring, your idea will bring. This is idea versus idea, see, so it's not even option yet. So when we screen project or screen selection, like government sectors have their own consideration, private sectors will have their own consideration, NGOs or non-profitable organizations like charities and social organizations, they will be more driven by their needs, you see. And private sectors, we really cannot be fixed on one thing, you see. Some could be a very short-term thing, some could be a very long-term thing, some could be a do or die, stay in business sort of things, you know. So we need to know, you know, where the project actually fits in. And for government project, it's usually about maybe it's an international thing, or it's a national thing, or it's a local thing, whether it has political pressure behind, or whether it has the very important needs behind it. So there is a different consideration when we have to put in into the selection of the project, depending on the organization that we are looking at. So this initial screening, we need to understand whether the project itself, the idea itself, is actually feasible, economically feasible, and financially viable. So viable, it means that, you know, you have the funding for it, you see. And economically feasible, we're looking at whether it's actually bringing enough benefits, meaning areas, not only the economic areas, but economically feasible means many aspects as well. These are the things that we can do. You know, it when we do feasibility studies, we do a wide range of technical, financial, economic, and also social, legal studies, in these feasibility studies. So, is this a bit too early to do a feasibility studies? Well, it depends. If there is only a few options available, if there is only a few competition available, it may be important to do it now. But if it's a competing studies, if there is many competing studies, your feasibilities at this stage, you probably would not want to spend too much of effort and too much of time in it, because it may not be the strong point. It may not be the strongest focus of the company. So you do not want to really make it a big deal at this stage when it's just doing a screening. But I think during this initial screening, if you talk about a full blast feasibility studies, this is not the stage. But if we're looking at maybe a pre-feasibility studies, I would think it may be more likely to be the case at this point. A feasibility studies would really be when you are selecting the option, when we're doing selection of option, not when we are just screening for different projects to pump our money in, or to do it for year 2023 or in the next 5 years or the next 3 years of the organization. It may be a bit too early for that, you see, and there may be a lot of data and information that you do not have, because you do not want to like I said, spend too much of effort in it before it is being selected, in that sense. Then it's situation based, like different project, different needs, different circumstances will bring about a different sort of studies to be used in that sense. So I think in this earlier stage, we will always do the one that we highlighted, the opportunity and pre-feasibility studies is a bit more detailed in terms of data facts and finding and data collection. So then we do these studies to see if it's a yes or no sort of things. So yeah, so this is a part that we talk about whether it's a yes or no. And this yes or no you can actually have your own program evaluation, and then you can do your own rubrics. But there are some people who say that you can look at a few areas, a few umbrella of areas, such as whether it is realistic, to do it, whether your company has the capacities to do it, whether it can be flexible. Some people are, it's very important to be flexible. You can change things as you go along. Whether the options will actually solve the problem and create a better usage. What is the cost? If some project, the cost is too high, it will impact whether it will be selected or not, you see. And easy computerization, it usually will mean whether it is actually considered as the design capacities, whether you have the company actually has expertly help you to solve different components or the subcomponents that you are looking at doing, you see. So, this is sometimes it's applicable to different type of projects. So not all of these are applicable, but you can, give it a reference in that. But of course, whether it's consistent with the company strategy, consistent with the goals, how does it contribute to the cash flow and all that. There are many different type of models you can use. Some of it is what we call a non-numeric model. It's like, is it a operating necessity? Is it a competitive necessity? Is it a production line extension? So some of these are actually very quantitative. Some of it are qualitative, And some of it is very quantitative. You want to do the measurement quantitatively.